Hello and welcome back to the Witching Hour. This one's a little bit later today, but it's still the 6th of October, and I hope you're having a wonderful time with your autumn. I've been having a very spooky time. I feel like constantly like someone's watching me, like someone's following me. I find myself looking over my shoulder. I'm hearing things, but no one's there. But that's okay, because we're just going to read more of The Witchmaster's Key. This is Chapter 5, The Runaway Horse. Frank pulled out his flashlight, snapped it on, and played the beam around the room. "Someone fiddled with the fuse box," Joe muttered, "or a fuse blew by itself. Let's find out. It's probably in the basement." The boys ascended the staircase. The basement was just as dark. Frank found the fuse box and lifted the cover. The master fuse was turned down. "Well, that explains it," Joe said. "Someone put the whammy on the whole lighting system." "Whoever did it," Frank said, "doesn't want us around. Must be afraid we'll find a clue." Joe pushed the master fuse back into place, and the museum lighted up again. Quickly, the Hardys searched the entire building but found nobody. I was warned to read a little bit ahead, to watch out for the language in this, because this is written in this is 1976. But they use some terms sometimes that are a little, outdated, not PC. 1976 is, 45 years ago. "Whoever pulled that trick got away," Joe said. "Via the front door. We left it unlocked." "We won't make that mistake again," Frank said as he turned the key. Then they hurried down to the sub-basement to see what Frank had discovered. "Look here," he said, using his flashlight for extra illumination. He pointed to a hole in the wall. It seemed to have been gouged out with some kind of tool, leaving a residue of fine dust. Joe rubbed some between his fingers. "Frank, this is dry, not damp like the rest of the room." "That means the hole was dug out recently." "Righto, I believe that something might have been hidden here. This could be the clue that breaks the case," Joe said, excited. "We'll make a cast of this hole, even though it's very rough," Frank said. "Try to figure it out, what it was. Maybe Nip Hadley can get us the stuff we need for the job." "Good idea. We can kill two birds with one stone by talking to Nip about his troubles." They went upstairs, turned out the lights, and left the building. The next day, they walked past Eagleton Green on their way to the sprawling Craighead estate, stopped momentarily to look out in the windows and see artisans at work. Finally, the turrets of Craighead Castle loomed ahead. They towered over medieval battlements with embrasures for shooting arrows at enemies beyond the drawbridge. Before they reached the castle, they noticed the stables and corral in a field beyond. Nip, wearing a jaunty striped cat, was exercising a lively black horse. Holding the reins in one hand, he pulled the animal up to its hind legs. Then he let it have its head in a canter. Finally, he spurred into a gallop, took his mount over a couple hedges, wheeled in the wide arc, and hurtled toward the Hardys. He pulled them to stop and jumped into the ground beside them. "Nice ride, Nip," Frank said. "Better than Buffalo Bill," Joe added. Nip grinned. "Let me introduce Midnight, a skittish horse and a smart one." "Smart?" Joe wondered. Nip slapped the animal's neck. "He knows how to get the corral gate open. Sometimes he does a disappearing act and we have to chase him. What brings you to Griffinmore?" Joe explained the clue at the Witch Museum and asked Nip if he could collect the ingredients for a cast. "What do you need?" the groom asked. 2.5-gallon cans, one containing plaster of Paris, the other empty, a can of clear plastic spray, and a wooden stick for stirring. "Sure, I can get all that," Nip said. He offered to show them the grounds. "First, though, I'll have to dispose of Midnight." He led the black horse to a corral. After opening the gate, he slapped the animal on the rump, urging it to amble in and close the gate. He escorted the Hardys past the main hall of Craighead Castle, along the winding path to the stables. "Those are my quarters," Nip said, pointing to the window under the eaves of the stables. "Do you like being a groom?" Frank inquired. "Rather. I was born in East Anglia, went to school in Griffinmore, raised with horses, so I was lucky to be appointed groom when I asked Mr. Craighead for a job." The three strolled up a small hill overlooking the tilled farmland. Beyond lay an orchard. On the other side of the hill stood a stone wall. "This wall," Nip said, "divides the land belonging to the Craighead estate from that of Eagleton Green. Some awfully strange things are going on over there." "Like what?" Frank asked. Nip cocked his head to one side and squinted at them as if making up his mind. "I suppose I can trust you blokes," he said. "You know those robberies and fires at the Ellison shops? Well, I think it's sabotage." Frank looked incredulous. "You mean somebody's trying to put the craftsman out of business?" Nip shrugged.
Looks that way. But why? I haven't any idea.
The three boys walked along a path leading to the rear of Cragged Castle. The sheer wall towered over them. Nip said the main windows belonged to the kitchen and dining room. "What's up there?" Joe asked, pointing to the tiny window that glinted in the sun high up in the one turret. "Don't really know," Nip confessed, whereupon Frank brought up the conversation back to Eagleton Green mystery. He asked about the charge that Nip had been firebombed the saddle shop, and the boy was about to answer when they turned the corner of the castle and saw a man approaching them. He wore a riding outfit and held a whip in one hand. Nip introduced him to the Hardys as Milton Craighead, owner of the Craighead Castle. Milton was about 30 years old. He was stiff and formal, barely shaking hands with Frank and Joe as if it went against the grain. While saying a few words to them, he cracked his whip against his boot. All at once, loud cries interrupted him. A gardener was shouting, "Midnight is loose! Catch him! Catch him!" "He escaped from the corral again," Nip exclaimed. Milton scowled.
How could that possibly have happened? Maybe we've had visitors who left the gate open.
"He means Frank and me," Joe thought. Not a very friendly fellow. Milton and Nip raced to the stables and leaped on horses. They set out in pursuit of the runaway, which was galloping around the pasture. Frank and Joe followed on foot. There was a wild chase in which Midnight dodged several times. Frank stood still for a moment in the middle of the pasture, shielding his eyes as he watched the black horse. Suddenly he heard the thunder of hoofbeats in his ears. Turning sideways, he saw Milton's mount coming at him full tilt. And that's all of Chapter 5. It's a very short chapter. The next chapter is called The Missing Marquee, and we'll read that tomorrow. So I'm going to do a few things with this. I'm going to play Pumpkin Thief for you real quick in the browser version, and then we're going to do a little story for a little bit. So we will be back. Okay, we're going to see if Pumpkin Thief works in the browser version right here so you can see it. Because if you haven't already played it yourself, this was made with full screen Unity game. But here, this is Pumpkin Thief, the game I was trying to play the other day. I'm this squirrel, and my goal is to eat all these pumpkins. And look at this. Look at the cool animations. We're not going to play too long, though. I'm going to try to play this quick so we have time to do an AI dungeon. Yeah, we basically have... I know where all the pumpkins are, so... have to go around. She's picking up the dog's poop. But yeah, just look at this beautiful... I love it. I absolutely love it. It's really cute. And the peaceful looping music. Someone probably made that. Leslie's on her phone. Baby's sleeping. Yeah. We gotta look around. There's 10 pumpkins you're trying to eat. I just absolutely love this. It's so charming. It's so very autumn charming. Go up here. That weird one there. And this is the one I gotta... Oh, the dog got me. Also, that guy's pumpkin is kind of hard to get to because the dog is there. Okay. Gotta watch out for the dog. I want to have time to do some AI dungeon. Hope you're all having a nice time. I spent a nice day in a really spooky place today. My work usually kind of picks up in October, and I get to do weird, spooky, sometimes interesting things. I guess she's pointing at that. If I stand right here, she's all like, oh, look, a squirrel. Okay, I got 7 of 10. Oh, really? Well, let's try to get those first. The hit detection of the dog is kind of ridiculous. Haha, I got away. Okay, now we got them all. I'm not that it's that important, because you've seen pretty much the whole game at this point, but... This is the game I was trying to show you the other day. I just feel better having an actual recorded playthrough of it, even though it's... In case you don't actually feel like... I mean, there's nothing extra to discover, it's just a fun little autumn game. There you go. You did it! You ate all the pumpkins! Yay! Here we are in AI Dungeon, and we're gonna do a new game. We're gonna use the prompts. There's plenty of good prompts in here for Halloween. So Halloween has Alone. It was a dark and stormy night. Alone, The Room, Haunted, Note, and Halloween Night. I think we should start at the top. It was a dark and stormy night, right? And we'll go through all of these throughout the season, and we'll see what we'll try to. I'm trying to do at least one a week. Probably have to do a couple a week, obviously, because there's more. But let's see. So if those aren't familiar with AI Dungeon, it's a program that generates like a story basically, and I have a narrator on, so he'll read everything. But it's just basically the AI creates everything.
Not that it really matters, but this is how it started. You were peacefully drifting off to sleep in your bed when you heard the howling of the wind outside. Groggily, you opened your eyes and looked at the green numbers on your alarm clock. 3:33 a.m. The howling continued, and you found yourself drifting in and out of sleep, constantly waking up only to hear the howling still continuing. You got annoyed.
And I think for these Dark and Stormy Night ones, I think there's lots of options too. I think it's not always the same. But I wish it was 1:35 a.m. That would make more sense to me. So the hauling continues. So what are we gonna do? So this is what we're mostly not gonna take this too seriously. We're not gonna play super long. I might actually set a timer on my phone for this, so I don't play like super long. Cause we're just usually I would just play like to see if we die or something like that. But let's just do this for a while. Because it can be addicting. It can be really easy to get sucked into AI Dungeon, and you end up playing for hours and not realize what you're doing. So let's see. Let's get up and look out the window to see if I can determine what is making the howling.
You get up and look out the window to see if you can determine what is making the howling. The window is on the opposite side of the room, and you slowly shuffle your way over to it. As you do, the howling continues with a slightly higher pitch than before. You reach the window and part the white curtain to peer out into the darkness. You don't see anything unusual, just the empty street and the stones of the walkway leading up to your house. No wolves or other animals in sight.
This is creepy. It's a dark and stormy night too. We don't want to go outside in the storm. Let's get go to the closet and get a flashlight and a raincoat.
You go to the closet and get a flashlight and a raincoat.
Sometimes it takes a little while.
You walk to the closet in the corner of your room and open it up. The flashlight you keep in there is easy to spot. You've had it for years, so long in fact that you don't remember when you got it. The raincoat at the very back is more difficult, with many of the coats you own all tangled up with each other. Eventually, though, you manage to get it out.
So like I have a subscription to this, and I'm paying for their little bit higher AI service too. They have two AI levels. They have the basic Griffin AI and the Dragon AI, and I don't know if there's that much difference, but well, it does seem more fluent. And you can kind of tailor make this thing to be whatever you want. So a flashlight. Put on the raincoat and go outside to check the woods around the house. Now to shine the flashlight into the woods around the house.
You put on the raincoat and go outside to shine the flashlight into the woods around the house.
I know, not the best horror movie like etiquette here, right? But we're doing it. We're not afraid of the Witchmaster.
You turn away from the window and quickly slip into the raincoat. It's fairly easy as it's the first one you picked up. You then walk back over to the window and raise the blinds, allowing you to open the glass pane. A blast of cold, winter air enters the room, and you shiver as you stick your head out the window and shine the flashlight out into the woods.
Well, I wanted to go outside, but apparently it's cold. It's a cold night. Scan the woods for any sign of wolves or
You scan the woods for any sign of wolves or the Witchmaster.
oh, sigh.
The
That's-
flashlight's beam cuts through the darkness of night, but doesn't reveal anything out of the ordinary. You turn and step out onto the roof of the porch before climbing down the ladder. The ground quickly meets you, but you're still careful to keep the flashlight pointed in the direction of the woods. You walk over to join the circle of light cast by the flashlight beam, and begin shining it back and forth across the tree line. You call out into the darkness, "Go away. Stop howling and let me get some sleep."
It's important to get some sleep. I mean, why would you want to do that?
The howling continues for a few seconds after your demand, and then stops altogether. You look up into the darkness, and begin to notice the slow movement of the trees. The wind has picked up, almost certainly because of the storm coming in. Stupid wolves.
I thought it
You
was
mutter to
already...
yourself. You turn the flashlight off and head back inside your house.
Oh. Put the raincoat away in the closet and head back to bed. That was easy. Oh, we solved that problem.
You put the raincoat away
Stupid
in the
wolves.
closet and head back to bed.
It's a nice, easy story. I mean, maybe this is our spooky story for the week.
You walk over to the closet and place the raincoat on a hanger before putting it on the second to top hook. You then glance over at your bed and see an ominous red stain on your sheets. You immediately panic and rush into the bathroom. It isn't as bad as it first seemed. You find that you've soiled yourself during the night, but it's nothing that some time in the wash won't take care of.
But I didn't even actually...
You then realize that you haven't even gone to sleep yet, so you can't be the one who soiled the sheets.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm not talking, but yeah, this is... I'm letting him talk, but it's... Yeah.
You glance over at the clock on the wall to see that it's after midnight. You must have been sleepwalking. You're having a hard time remembering all the details of your dream, but it involved a dark forest and a pack of wolves prowling just beyond a cackling figure in a cloak. You struggle to remember more, but can't.
No.
The details have fled from your mind. You take a deep breath and try to calm down.
No. 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 This is scaring me. I don't like this. It was 3:33 a.m. before. And it wasn't a dream. It was a dream. This was all a dream? Like the howling was a dream?
You can't calm down. You could have sworn that it was all real and not a dream. You grab your flashlight and go back outside.
Yeah, you notice here that the AI does tend to do
You
weird
walk
stuff.
into the living room and pick up your boots. You slip them on and then grab the flashlight. You head back outside and towards the forest behind your house. You walk along the familiar path to where you went with your friends last night. As you're walking along the path, you notice that there are claw marks on trees every so often.
I will continue to follow the path to where you went last night.
You continue to
Oh.
follow the path to where
Should
you
have had
went
it.
last night. You keep on walking until you arrive at the clearing in the forest where you had gathered last night. The stones seem to still be warm to the touch, meaning that your friends haven't left yet. You walk further into the clearing and begin calling out to them. "Hey, guys, I'm here." You call out. I had a crazy dream last night and then woke up and found that I had soiled myself. It was pretty scary.
So, in addition to saying like a do and having you do things, you can also say things. You can advance, just do a story. And I'm going to do this to make it scarier.
But no one responded and you realized that your friends were there after all.
No, weren't there. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix this probably. This is the.
You notice their flashlights shining in the distance, so you begin walking towards them. You push back some branches and step into a small opening. You shine your flashlight onto your friends. They are all lying on the ground, unmoving. You gasp and drop to your knees. Flashlight held out in front of you. You shine it on your friends. Their clothing is torn and there are scratches and bite marks covering their bodies. Oh my god.
What the? Okay, this took a dark turn. You check to see if any of your friends are alive by checking for a pulse.
You check to see if any of your friends are alive by checking for a pulse. You slowly lower your head toward one of your friends. Upon closer inspection, you see that their throat has been torn out, with the wound gaping open where their esophagus once was. You gently place your fingers on their neck, searching for a pulse. You feel a light fluttering under your fingertips. You're alive, you say in surprise. You look over the rest of your friends to see if they're alive as well, and find that they're all still breathing.
Oh, Jesus. Check your cell phone to see if you have cell service and call 911.
You check your cell phone to see if you have cell service and call 911.
Somehow they're alive even though their throats have been torn out? This is insane.
You pull your cell phone out of your pocket and open it. You see that you have 1 bar of service. That should be enough, right? You dial 911 and press send. It rings twice before a frantic voice comes on the other end. 911, what is your emergency? I'm in the woods and my friends are all dying. What? I said my friends are dying. Who is this? The voice demands.
Explain that your friends, that you found your friends with their throats torn out, but they are still alive and need immediate assistance.
You give them your name and your address, including the location of a clearing in the woods. You explain that you found your friends with their throats torn out, but they are still alive and need immediate assistance. Help is on the way, the voice on the other end says. Just hang tight, okay? Okay, you say. You hang up your phone and stare at your friends. Their breathing is slowing and their hearts aren't beating as fast. It feels like time has slowed down. You notice a bite mark on one of their throats and kneel down to get a closer look. You lean in close and see that their skin looks wrinkled.
So another thing you can do is if you can't think of anything to do, you can just hit the button and have it generate more story. Let's do that, because I don't know what to do here.
You lean in even closer to get a better look. That's when you feel a cold hand clasp your wrist. You let out a yelp and leap back. You see your friend's eyes blink open. He lets out a low growl. You realize that it's your friend, but he's different. His eyes are dark red and his face is gaunt. You let out a yelp and stumble backwards.
Uh-oh. Are they gonna be zombies?
You step back from your friend's body, still watching them.
I think that was the wrong. It should be friends S apostrophe. I did that wrong.
You stand up and step back from your friends. One of them lets out a moan and their eyes blink open. They look around confused. They let out a moan and sit up. You realize that they don't seem to notice you at all. Hello? You say, waving a hand in front of their face. They don't respond, but continue to blink slowly. It's like they aren't aware of their surroundings at all. You try talking to them. Guys, come on. This isn't funny. Just try not to move. Help is on the way.
I think this narrator voice is perfect for this.
One of them stands up slowly. You step back, unsure of what to do. The one who stood up begins walking toward you. You step out of the way to let them pass, but they stop in front of you. You notice that their eyes are still unfocused and dark red. They reach up with a hand and gently caress your face. Then, they press their mouth against your neck. You feel a sharp pain followed by an overwhelming feeling of dread.
They are zombies.
You push the person away before they can bite you and start to head back down the trail towards home. You rush past your friends and
Sometimes
start
it asks
heading
you
back
this
towards
stuff
the
too.
trail.
I
You can
never-
hear them stumbling after you, moaning and growling like animals. You guys really messed up this time, you say to yourself. Better get home and call the cops. You put your head down and take a quick glance at your phone. You have 1 bar of signal. Maybe you can let someone know what's going on before the things chase you down.
Oh, now I only have 1 bar of signal. I had better reception in the forest clearing. You dial the local police and
You dial the local police.
the local police. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. It's kind of going on. I'm not dead yet.
You hit send and bring the phone up to your ear. Nothing. You try again, but still nothing. You shrug and keep jogging down the trail. Signal should pick up once you're out in the open. You hear a low growling a few feet behind you. You glance over your shoulder and see a single zombie gaining on you. Keep running or you keep running towards your home.
I know how to wrap this up.
You hear another growl and feel something bite into your ankle and pull you backwards. You fall down and see a thin, gaunt-looking zombie snarling over you. Its jaws are covered in blood and what looks like flesh. It watches you and waits for you to move. You reach for your knife but find that it's not there. You must have dropped it when the zombie
Okay.
pulled you down. You look up at the snarling monster and feel its breath on your face. You then wake up in your bed, screaming.
Dream within a dream. See what you do with that.
You are now safe in your bed. There are no zombies outside. Your heart is beating fast and you are covered in sweat. Luckily, this was just a dream. You look at the time and realize you slept in. You need to get ready for school.
Oh.
You hop in the shower, throw on some clothes and run down the stairs to the kitchen to grab a piece of toast before running out the door. You arrive at school late and head straight to class.
There. Well, that was a nice story. I'm gonna leave it there, and hope you had a nice time and enjoyed this. We'll do more of these AI dungeon things, spooky stories like this with zombies. It's just like it's been almost 20 minutes doing this. I don't want to do it forever, but yeah, I hope you've had fun, and we'll see you next time for tomorrow for another witching hour. I'll be back.
But when you arrive at class you find the Witchmaster is your teacher. The winds have changed. Be well while you can.